go for it, and
Mm.
and and do it in the way that might make you feel the most comfortable, because believe it or not everybody gets this calling to be a business owner, an
Mm.
entrepreneur.
Hello, everybody. It's Becky Longacre, your nurse gone health coach with Health Transformers. And today, my guest is Kendra Glasgow. She is an occupational therapist turned relationship coach, and we're going to be talking to her about her healthcare entrepreneur journey. Welcome, Kendra.
Thanks, Becky. I'm happy to be here.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your experience working as an occupational therapist? What were some of the good things and what were some of the challenging things?
Sure. So I'm actually a daughter of a pediatrician, and also a daughter of immigrant parents. So I kind of knew early on that I was going to end up in healthcare.
Mm.
What drew me to occupational therapy was I thought it had a pretty like holistic lens when it came to healthcare, kind of focusing on both the mind and body when it came to being able to help people get back to meaningful and everyday activities. But after being a occupational therapist for 7 years, I was exposed to a lot of cracks within our U.S. healthcare system.
Mm.
One of them being like unrealistic productivity standards, and just I think a general sense of kind of feeling taken advantage of, because most people don't go into healthcare because of the money. Like, we truly like want to help.
Mhm.
So that actually led me to transition into public health, which is something I always also had an interest in.
Mhm.
But I wanted to see if I could, have impact on the system. So I actually worked with the federal government on the reimbursement policy side of things for 4 years before moving into entrepreneurship.
Right. It's a wonderful journey and looking at things from different perspectives, from one-on-one patient or client therapy to looking at it from more of a broad spectrum public health lens, to
Exactly.
transitioning into a relationship coach. So, what led you to start your own business?
Yeah. So, I feel like like everyone probably have an interesting answer. So in the midst of transitioning from like being a healthcare provider to going into public health, I was in a marriage in which I felt very much alone.
Hmm.
So I didn't know that, I would ultimately decide on, getting a divorce, but I think that that kind of equipped me to make difficult decisions ever since. So this past summer, I decided to transition full time into being a business owner as a relationship coach.
Hmm.
Another difficult decision, another like jump into uncertainty, but I felt ready for it.
Hmm. Awesome. So, what have been some of the struggles for you in opening your own business?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So I mean, I think that I have a pretty like cliche answer in terms of like the biggest challenge seems to be like, transitioning from that stable,
Hmm.
consistent paycheck to more uncertain,
Yeah.
more variable income. I think that's a pretty cliche answer, and I would say that like I did try to kind of do the whole like let's work full time and work on the business on the side. I really did try to do that as long as I could mentally and emotionally tolerate that.
Hmm.
But it's a tough thing. It's a tough balance. But I would say that if you are someone that really like craves that financial certainty, it's not like a factor to take too lightly.
Hmm.
So I would say that that's probably the biggest challenge, especially early on, which is where I am.
Mhm.
And then the second challenge would be navigating unsolicited advice from non-business owners. And, they
Mm,
have all the best intentions, but they don't know that you're like constantly overthinking because like this is a journey, this is a process.
right.
So I would say that can also be a tough thing to navigate and kind of, you know, so and this brings me to something that I feel like is a challenge and a reward, and that's like figuring out the best mindset to have as a
Mhm.
business owner.
Yeah.
Um, because you are going to be constantly tempted by like shiny new objects,
Hmm.
especially as someone new to entrepreneurship.
Yep.
You're going to be swayed
Yep.
in so many different directions. So it's really important to really nurture self trust and
Mm,
intuition as much as you can.
yep.
I think it's a common sentiment that like being a business owner is like the ultimate personal growth masterclass. And you have to
Yes.
learn so much about yourself. You have to know your triggers to self
Yep.
doubt because it's going to come up. Like,
Right.
there's going to be some days you're like, no regrets about making this decision. And then other days you're like, what did I do?
Right.
So, uh,
Right.
mindset is like, it's both a challenge and a reward, I
Yes.
would say.
Mindset is enormous. It's enormous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So big.
So tell us a little bit about who you serve. What can they expect when they work with you?
Yeah. So I would say my ideal client is any individual or any couple that's experiencing loneliness despite being in a relationship.
Hmm.
What they can expect from me as a coach is someone that's lived this experience, and I know how life changing and powerful it is to kind of um, examine like what's really behind this loneliness. Often it's not just one thing, and it's often not just our husband
Hmm.
or our spouse's inattention or behavior. It's usually a lot deeper.
For sure.
So I think I'm just going to share a story. I would say that like when I felt the most lonely in my marriage was when I didn't really feel connected to myself. I was putting a lot of weight on what he wasn't doing, what he wasn't saying, and I think by focusing on what was really underneath that loneliness, I discovered like all the ways I also wasn't meeting my needs
Mhm.
as an individual.
Mm,
So I think that as a coach, I want to walk along with you on this journey.
mhm. Yeah, and so it's a journey connecting to yourself just as much as connecting to someone else,
Yes,
it sounds like.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And yeah, you'll be amazed at how much that can also like improve your relationship with your partner, because
Hmm.
I will get some women female clients that maybe their husbands are not as receptive to third party support, but
Yeah.
they're still saying I'm seeing improvements in my marriage just by
Yeah.
me doing this work and uncovering what's going on. So that's
100%.
why I say individuals and couples. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You had said before that you started a Facebook page, and originally it sounded like there were men and women on the page, and then you kind of separated them out to
Well,
prevent like any sort of gender wars or anything like that. Is that correct?
well, Well, actually, I had started out just kind of reaching out to women because we tend to be the ones that are seeking help,
Sure.
seeking relationship help, seeking personal help. But I was starting to get messages also, well, Facebook messages from men saying,
Hmm.
I this resonates with me too.
Yeah.
So I as a way to prevent gender wars, I
Right.
ended up making two separate Facebook groups because it is unfortunately a big thing, and I just think that that's a distraction right now from like the issue at hand.
Right.
um
Right. 100%. It's very smart on your
Yeah.
part, I'd say. Yeah.
It took some thinking. And I was like, oh, maybe, but didn't
Right.
want to take my chances.
Right. Yep. And like you said, let's focus on the solution and not the past problems and things like that. Yeah.
Right, right.
So if someone is interested in working with you as an individual or as a couple, how can they get in contact with you?
So I would say email is probably the best. I'm also on Facebook,
Mhm.
obviously, and Instagram.
Mhm.
And I think you'll include details in the show
Mhm.
notes. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
In the
Okay.
description, yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna cut and paste all your stuff
okay.
so people can find you. Yep.
Okay. But yeah, email would probably be best. I know it's a little old school.
As long as there's a system, that's what works. Yep.
Exactly.
If there's one last thing you would like to tell a fellow healthcare entrepreneur thinking about starting their own business, what would it be?
I would say go for it
Mm,
and do it in the way that might make you feel the most comfortable because believe it or not everybody gets this calling to be a business owner an
mm,
entrepreneur. I know that there are like probably more than a handful of my friends that probably think I'm crazy to do this.
mhm,
So I mean, I would say go for it, and just make it as easy as possible for you,
mm-hmm. Because it's going to be challenging no matter what. So,
no matter
so
what.
important. Yeah. So, so important to make it as easy as possible. Find the support from other people around you. So for me, I had to make sure that if people didn't understand what I was doing, that for a while, I just needed to sort of like protect myself. Like I had to distance myself from people
Yeah.
that thought going into business for myself was crazy because I was
Hmm.
so vulnerable. So I had to sort of
Yeah.
distance myself from some people and really attach myself to people that believed it was possible, you know? Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Because that doubt energy like
yeah.
impacts you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I can relate to that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And attaching
Yeah.
yourself to people that um, they can handle thinking outside the box. They can
Mhm.
handle, thinking of the unknown or imagining what's not already there. I truly believe that
Right.
that's a hallmark of an entrepreneur is someone that can visualize something that's not there and put
Yeah.
steps towards creating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like, yeah. I like that framing a lot.
Well, Kendra Glasgow, thank you for joining us. I'll have all of your information in the description below so that people can find you. So you're a virtual coach, so you cross state lines, you cross country lines even. So people don't need to be in your home state in order to work with you. They can work with you virtually.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you.